Bill Hamilton needed temporary shelter when a fire destroyed his home. During an operation, Haley Reynolds needed a blood transfusion.
Excuse me, may I go into that room, please?
Next year, revenue growth again will be a focus of our priority.
Thank you for giving me blood.
Thank you for giving me shelter.
Thank you for saving my life.
Support the Red Cross and change a life, starting with your own.
We're back with Paul Gray, CEO of Rise Adventures, to find out how specialized equipment can have you cycling without legs. Welcome, Paul. Before we take a look at the equipment, tell us a little bit about Rise and what your organization does.
Rise Adventures is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. Our mission is to create independence through outdoor recreation and sporting programs for the physically challenged community.
Excellent, excellent. So tell me a little bit about, you're the CEO, and what does that mean? Like, how do you do things and how do you get started, and what brought you, because you're not physically disabled, so what made you decide that you wanted to start something like this?
I had a friend that was injured in 1969 in a car wreck and became a paraplegic when I was in high school, and I've stayed in touch with the disabled community through the years as I built different businesses in corporate America. And when I retired, I needed to do something different in life and felt like that this is something that was true to my heart, and I wanted to be involved in it. So I formed Rise Adventures in March of 2007 and got a great board of directors together, and we've got 21 active programs right now throughout the Metroplex in a variety of different ways and with a variety of different disabilities.
So give us a couple of different ideas of what kind of activities that you do.
We have the only North Texas quad rugby program, which is for quadriplegics. It's similar to the movie Murder Ball. We have sled hockey, we have hand cycling, we've got kayaking, we've got sailing. We just started our disability golf program, so that's just a few of the programs we have active today.
So it sounds to me like activities are really what make your organization quite different. Is that correct? Tell me again, you've got disabilities and nonprofit. Are there other things that make your organization different than other disability-oriented organizations?
Most outreach programs in North Texas is always focused on major events or specialized programs like wheelchair basketball where it's team play. Our mission was to start recreational play for all levels, colors, size, shapes of physical disabilities on a weekly basis. So we wanted to provide outreach through all of the local hospitals and affiliations to be able to not only just put these guys in team sport, we wanted to put them in recreational sport. We want to create that independence through activity and through getting with their peers in a variety of ways.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and I really appreciate that, because I'm kind of an individualist, and that's one of the reasons why I like riding my bike is I can get on my bike, I can get some exercise, it just feels great, it's a lot of fun, and this hand cycling gives somebody that would maybe not normally be able to get out. Tell us a little bit about the experience of what happens when people are hand cycling. Give us
Our hand cycling program, we've sent a group of paraplegics all over the Metroplex riding on all different kinds of trails, parks and whatever, and we finally found what we think is the perfect place because it's not really hilly. And we provide the equipment. There's a variety of different types of hand cycles. There's from the low end that a kid can ride to the adult super, where they can really get out there and rock and roll with it. So we provide the equipment, we set it up, we provide a tent, free food, free water, and we bring them out to the program and let them try on the 6.5 mile, 12-foot wide concrete track different levels of bikes to gain their interest. We invite their family members to bring their regular bikes to ride with them, so they can gain, and participate in that experience. We try to do everything in a family-oriented way. A lot of the health issues, especially from a paraplegic or a quadriplegic. We have special devices for our hand cycles that we can remove the handles, put on handles for a quadriplegic, and because the quadriplegic they can move their arms, but they can't grip. So we actually have hand grips they put in, so a quadriplegic can ride. Amputees, muscular dystrophy, so all of those and many, many more can actually ride these types of hand cycles. It's great for your upper body, especially if you're newly injured and you're paraplegic and you're going to have to start using just this upper body strength. Well, nothing's more than doing this for a couple hours a day or a week or whatever to really build that upper body strength that'll help you in all aspects of your life.
Yeah, that makes me think. My grandfather, he's had 3 open heart surgeries, and he's going to be 88 this year. Our birthday's the same in end of November here, but remember one of the first things that they did is rehab in the gym. They have this hand cycle type machine, right. And I remember that was the first time I'd ever seen one, and I thought, wow, that's interesting, and I gave it a try, and it's really surprising to me how quickly that becomes a cardiovascular activity. So even if you're healthy, the idea of maybe changing the emphasis from cycling with the legs to cycling with your hands, I really like that idea. The upper, the back, the shoulders, and I got a chance to ride
one
and hopefully they'll get to see. And I really had a good time. I mean, it was a comfortable bike, especially the one I was on where I was leaning back and sitting in a chair, and it was just it was a comfortable way to ride, and it felt good, and it was very easy. And although it was a little bit of a challenge because you're steering and pedaling at the same time, but right. Even my 9-year-old daughter got a chance to try it, and she did pretty good. I was really it took her a while to want to try it, but when she did, she had a good time with it.
Yeah. All of our programs are free for rides, so we just this equipment is so expensive. I mean, you're talking about anywhere from a low end of $1,500 to $2,000 to a high end of $4,000 to $5,000 for one piece of equipment.
Wow.
We go through the foundation process and sponsorship process to be able to afford this expensive adaptive equipment for free to our participants. We don't charge anything for any of our services, period. Everything's free. So when we get these people out there in the family atmosphere and building up the upper body strength and the fresh air and the whatever, it's a win-win for everybody. One of the things that our organization has noticed, and really I've been involved in nonprofits for about the last 4 years, is the fact that not only do the programs work at creating that independence, it's the peers. If we get someone out and they see that somebody else is doing it and what that person's done with their life, the peer exposure and the talking and the camaraderie does as much as what our program does in every one of our programs. And it's amazing how they can ask another disability maybe some of the personal issues they're having with their disability, and cycling's a good way to do that. You can go out and ride bikes with your family, your kids, or another disability anywhere you want to go. So
that's one of the reasons why I really thought this was just a fascinating activity, was the idea that I was out there riding right next to Mike, who was in a wheelchair. I was trying the hand cycling out. We were just, I was getting some exercise. I was out in the absolutely beautiful fall day, loving, the conversation. I was getting to ask him questions, and I just thought, what a wonderful time to spend. It's not the team exercise, like we were saying, the idea to emphasize, just having kind of growing independence, but still building relationships, and to be able to do that and be able to do it in a way that includes cycling, of course. That just, wow, what a wonderful discovery. I'm just so glad to meet you. So tell me more.
It's just, it's along with the mission. It's just this program and all of our other programs. Cycling's a very, very big program. We have the Wounded Warrior Project is someone who had a designer, architect that works for Texas Instruments had come to us and said he was developing a device on the back of a hand cycle for their long, like the MS-150 rides, whereas we don't do that. We're a recreational program, but they had a need for, they ride the MS-150, so if you have a person in there that's hand cranking the bike and they get up a hill and they can't go, these guys had developed a rod on the back, which you have some pictures of.
That yellow bike.
Yeah, the yellow bike, where they could actually bring another able-bodied bike behind it and actually help them go up the hill without interfecting the motion or the interference of either one of them feeling it besides being able to make it up the hill. So
yeah, we didn't really get to see that in action. You can see that there's a bar at the back of, but how does that work? Does that bar rotate or something? How does that work?
Yeah, the bar rotates. It's a bar. In fact, he wasn't out there the other day, but they're actually going to bring us 4 prototypes. We've helped them design it and run different tests on it. And one of our designs was to make it wider so it didn't interfere potentially with the bike, front able-bodied bike getting in hurting the messing up with the wheelchair guy.
Right, I see that. Right.
So what we were trying to do is when they hit it, it rolls, and so the bicycle's not affected, and the hand cycle's not affected, and the person can project, go ahead and go up the hill, and hopefully that helps them out. So.
I see. I know I've needed that before. I was on a I was on a tandem on the MS-150, and that's where we actually started this show, looking at what it would take to ride in the MS-150. So hopefully some of the viewers will get to see that, a repeat on that eventually. But those hills, and what was interesting is when my daughter's ridden by herself going up a hill, I noticed somebody showed me how you can put your hand on the back of the cyclist and kind of help them up the hill, and how she really needed that. She wouldn't have been able to make it up the hill, child up a big hill just right outside here of Fort Worth, coming into downtown, that big hill on the bridge. So I can imagine that you can't stand up, you can't give yourself any extra power. You're just have your arms. You get a hill. I can imagine that you can't walk your bike up the hill. What do you do? So what a awesome solution to being in a situation that would keep you from doing an event otherwise if you didn't have a
that would be more for a lower level, like your newly the Wounded Warrior Project specifically is targeting OEMs, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, newly injureds in their program. So these guys maybe wouldn't have the upper body, or guys or girls have the upper body strength to be able to do that. But then you've got your more experienced riders that do this quite a bit, that they're not going to have this issue. So this is more for your beginner process, and people that want to challenge themselves to go 150 miles on a hand cycle's pretty good challenge,
I know I haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
sorry, folks.
We don't do stuff like that. But we're very, very supportive of other organizations that do similar things with us, and we've just been doing the tests for them, and we've got a lot of video on those tests and send it back with our comments, and they're still in the design process of making sure that it's right.
Well, that's one of the foundational passions that I have, is to try to bring groups together. That's why I have sometimes kind of unusual guests come on, is the idea that, bicycling is a platform, but look at how it benefits, people in a wheelchair, in a variety of different ways. And you're kind of similar, going to different organizations, different groups, and kind of bonding together. Weren't you saying you were doing something with a Lockheed Martin?
We do. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We do. Our mission is, again, to create the independence through programs, and again, we've got a lot of programs. We also do advocacy. It's kind of something that's not a part of our mission, but we've recently done advocacy for Frito-Lay corporate headquarters, for PepsiCo corporate headquarters, Lockheed Martin, who have plans to hire persons with disabilities.
Oh, okay.
So, and what we do is take hand cycles to those deals that allow their able-bodied constituency to get into them and ride them around so they can see some of what it's like. We also build things, doors and whatever, and allow their constituency, their employees to get in wheelchairs and try to go see what it's like to live in a wheelchair for a day and to be able to transfer. One of the issues when you talk about these hand cycles, if you noticed the other day, if we have a quadriplegic, we actually have to help. Our able-bodied volunteers have to actually help with the transfer from the bike, from their chair to the bike,
Sure.
whereas an amputee or a paraplegic, for the most part, can transfer themselves. So, our organization's grown in a lot of different ways, and we continue to take the challenge to see, what's required to promote the disability, and if it's advocacy, if it's waking up corporate America to what we're trying to do, hey, we're in.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate, getting a chance to take a look at all the outreach that you're doing, not just cycling, but, kayaking and other things, so that people can be out, be independent. Are there any other last-minute things that you'd like to let us know about before?
Well, I'd just like to encourage anyone with a physical disability to go to riseadventures.org, check out our website. Everything we do is free. We'd love to have you out. If you're corporate America and you'd like to jump aboard as a sponsor, we'd love to have you. We've got a great board of directors. I've got a lot of support, and we'll end this year with over 15,000 volunteer hours, and we're an all-volunteer army. So
thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thanks for coming on the show today, Paul.
I appreciate it.
I'm thankful to my guests. They had time to trot on over to the studio today But unfortunately, I never got to invite my former co-worker and friend Byron DeSosa on my show until today. Byron was passionate about bicycle advocacy, and he worked hard to see the bike plans and signage fulfilled. Unlike Lance Armstrong, Byron never won a Tour de France, but he was a valued comrade in the challenge to make our world safer for cyclists, especially children. And unlike Lance Armstrong, Byron did not win the fight against prostate cancer, but he was a hero at helping kids understand the health benefits of bicycling to school. I loved working with him. Byron, we remember you. To find out more about everyone on the show and even upload a photo to memorialize a loved one on the blog page, remember to visit areyoukeepingup.com. And until next time, keep on keeping up.